besties, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're well. Today I'm so excited to be talking about 10 tips to write your book during 2024. It is the new year, which is so crazy, but I'm so excited for everyone's new writing goals and also for a lot of new writers to be welcomed to the writing community. So especially if you're writing a book for the first time this year, this video is for you. This video is actually collaborating with the beautiful SARA on YouTube. She is an amazing authortuber who I adore. I love her vlogs and she gives such good advice. So we're gonna do a collab video where she's gonna give 10 tips and I'm gonna give 10 tips. So you have 20 amazing tips. So please go check out Sarah's channel and also subscribe to her. Her video will be linked in the description, so definitely go click that after watching this video. But anyways, let's go ahead and get on to 10 tips to write your book during 2024. Let's go. The first tip is to write a zero draft. Yes, a zero draft. What is a zero draft, you may ask? That is the way I write my books, and basically I describe zero drafts as writing your story in short sentences. Basically the first thing to do to write your book is to write your book for yourself, where you're looking at the actions of the book. So when you think of like a novel, you remember all the actions, all the things that happened. I have a full outline of how I write my book in 4 steps. I definitely recommend you to watch this video. I go through all the details and everything like that, and especially through the zero draft and how I write that. Some tips in this video will actually kind of be in that sort of realm of zero draft writing and writing your own book through zero drafts. All the books that I've actually finished are approached through this method. So all the books that I haven't finished is through other means. So the zero draft I found has a 100% foolproof method. So I really encourage you guys to check out what a zero draft means and to write it during 2024 for your book. The second tip is to create a designated scene Pinterest board. Okay, this is so good. A lot of people ask me, Anna, how do you come up with actual scenes? How do you actually come up with the stuff in the book? I want my characters to go to point A to point B, but I don't know how they get there. This is how you do it. This is how I do it, and it works so well. I go on Pinterest and I create a new Pinterest board, which is titled my project name, and I actually look for settings, places in my book which I can write about. Because when you think about it, your characters need to be places when they're doing stuff in your book. Therefore, the settings will create scenes through inspiration. So basically what I do is I pin, for example, a graveyard, maybe a principal's office, maybe an abandoned car lot. These are settings that can easily become scenes. Maybe there's an argument in the abandoned car lot. Maybe there's a ghost that comes out at night in the graveyard. Those actions are now attached to scenes. The third tip is a little bit more willy-nilly, I think, and that's basically to make sure that you have an actual goal for your book. And what I mean by that is an actual message, an actual core, why you're writing the book. Basically, why are you writing this book? I know it might be a bit hard if you're just like kind of getting the idea, maybe like, oh, I want it to be like this, but whilst you're brainstorming and creating your book, I really encourage you to really focus on the message of the book. This will help you actually finish it because you have a goal, a sort of vision in mind for your novel. This will also help you so freaking much with like plot and with just like character development. Like what your story wants to explore will help reinvigorate you to come up with new ideas and to shape new different things for your book. So for example, Ghost Side, which is the book that's coming out this year, hopefully, my debut novel. Go follow my Instagram if you haven't already. I share all about the process there where I'm publishing my own book. Anyways, that book has such a clear thing. Like, it's a story from my 17-year-old self, and my goal for that story is to allow other people, other writers, other readers, just people in general to feel less alone. And that is the goal. Like, it's the book that I wish I had during that time, so that's exactly what I wanted to do when I wrote the book. So having that sort of idea, that sort of motivation helped me finish the book and actually want to publish it. So it helps you through that whole process of actually finishing the book, which is so important. The fourth tip is to journal your process, whether that be digital journaling. I have a friend who actually would set up her webcam on her computer and just film herself every single week, just updates and life updates, but you can specifically do this for your book, whether that be just quickly setting up your phone for a time lapse while you're writing, or taking photos of your process, of your word count goals, of your characters, your ideas. Like, literally this is so fun, and of course on my Instagram, on this YouTube channel, I'm able to do that. So if you want to maybe like have a new goal of setting up a writergram account or something like that, definitely go for it. It's so great, this amazing writing community. But if you want to do it privately, that's also so great. A A lot of people have a writing journal which they write in, so whatever works for you, whether that be digital or pen and paper, and it really encourages you to want to finish that book if you've documented all the process, if that makes sense, because you want that success story. You want to be like, I finished my book, and have all the cool little footage. Maybe it's just my content creator coming out, but it helps really. The next tip is to create a movie, book, and music list which is to do with your book, and this is a list that you're going to go back to as you're writing your book throughout the year, in which you can kind of really just dive back into that genre, whether it be fantasy or dystopian. You can maybe have a list where it's kind of like, if you're writing a dystopian fantasy, you can have Hunger Games as a movie, maybe video games as a song, then Six of Crows as a book. You know, these are things that you can really just revisit and go back to when you are feeling demotivated and want some sort of genre backing, if that makes sense. I turn to music all the time. I have a Ghost Side playlist if you guys want to check that out also. I adore that playlist. A lot of people have been listening to it, so if you want to kind of get the vibe from my book, definitely listen to that. It's on Spotify, link down in the description. But these sorts of medias of culture are really, really fun. And if you want some inspiration, I recently did an amazing podcast just before the end of the year with Lee from Lee Crescent Books on Instagram, and we talked about all the medias of art that we adore and that inspire us. For example, like the Hunger Games, Star Wars, Raven Boys, all these sorts of books, Phoebe Bridgers, all those sorts of artists. So if you want some inspiration, definitely check that podcast out, link in the iCard. However, yes, that is the tip. Make a movie, book, music list. Yes. Okay, I hope you stayed till this point, because this is probably the biggest, best tip I have in this video. And the sixth tip is to have a blurb page when you are starting to write your book. This is what you can come back to as you're writing and finishing your book to make sure that your vision, your sort of blurb, your message of the story is consistent. It's totally okay if you derail and kind of, you know, explore and evolve your story, but this is really good to kind of give you a head start in writing your book. This is what my blurb page looks like. I do this every time whenever I start a new project, and it's basically where I have like title, I have word count goal, I have just kind of like the bio of my book, if that makes sense. Like if my book was a website, this will be the about page, if that makes sense. But this helps so much. I also have like a one sentence synopsis, which is really good if you, for example, want to publish and you want a pitch. Like this is also really good if you like have a friend who like asks about your book and you basically blank out and bill all the details about your book in incoherent, illogical order. This is great because you can just give this one sentence synopsis, and it can change of course over time, but this is just really good to have at the start. Like I cannot stress this enough. I also have like tropes there and stuff like that, but yeah, this is kind of like what I do when I start my project, and it helps so much. So I definitely recommend you to have a one-page summary or a bio for your book, a page basically for your book. The next tip is to not be afraid to use writer planners, writer websites, writer tools to help your process in writing your book. I really do encourage you to kind of have a place where you have all your book stuff in one place, or else it gets like really messy, because if you have like one draft over here, then you're brainstorming over there, then your plot plan in another website, like it gets really crazy. So either have a document, or a lot of people use, what's it called? Scrivener, I think, but I really recommend either Campfire, Taylor's, or Millernote. These are the three that I've actually been using. I think Scrivener you need to pay for, so I don't go to those. All the other ones like Taylor's, Scrintl, and Millernote, which I've done partnerships with, so I of course really recommend them if I've done a partnership with them, but I really recommend those three apps and those platforms to help kind of have one place to kind of commit to. So I encourage you to maybe check that out. I have the links in the description if you want to sign up for free, but yeah, I really recommend you not to be scared basically about these tools. I am thinking of maybe kind of creating some tools for myself for you guys, and putting them on a potential web page, an author's website. Yes, plans in the midst, but we'll see what happens. So don't be afraid to use tools. The next tip is to have a manifestation page, and this is kind of more so about your career as a writer. I feel like a lot of people overlook this when they're planning for the new year and making goals for their author dreams. And when you think about like writing a book, of course you're going to think about publishing it. Like I remember being so naive of this and being like, oh wait, I can actually publish this. but yes, you can. And this will help reinvigorate you. I feel like I've used that word a couple times, but it'll help encourage you to actually finish the book and get to the next stage. For example, your book launch, creating a book cover, getting artists to commission your art, having fan art of your characters. The list literally goes on. But make sure you think about these things and talk about it and just be excited about it, because it is part of the process of creating a story and giving it to the world. So yeah, maybe make a little manifestation page, whether it be on Pinterest or your journal or just like on a Word document. It's up to you. The second last tip is to find a writing community. I encourage you to check out my Discord and also my Instagram and also my actual podcast. I have so much community, like back and forth. It's so fun, especially my Discord server. That is literally for you guys. I don't go on it too often, so it's literally for you to find other writers like-minded and to share your work, your characters, your stories. So I'll have that linked in the description if you guys have always wanted to kind of join a Discord server. You do have to be 13 and over, so I hope you are, and make sure you check out the guidelines as well before you join. But finding a writing community, or at least a person who writes in your life, whether it be overseas. I'm best friends with Tiana and also Ashley, who I've met through content creation and YouTube and writing, and like it's so fun. Like literally writers have this thing where they're just like, it's just like an instantaneous connection, and it's just so good. So I really encourage you to find someone to write with, to do FaceTime, to do writing sprints with. Of course my channel is always here for you, so I love my writing community so much. So if it's the first time you're watching my face, join my writing community and subscribe, of course. But yes, find a writing community for you, because it does help so much. The last tip is a little bit more of a willy-nilly tip, but it's so important, and that is for you to actually remember that your goal this year is to finish a book. And people don't understand how hard it is to finish a book. So you may be one of two different people. You may be like, oh, this is easy, I'm just gonna find these tips and write a book. But there might be some of you which are like, oh my gosh, like I've never written a book, this is so scary. And it's okay if you're in both boats, but I encourage you to realize that you are just writing a book. Like you're not going over the publishing, although it's good to keep it in mind. You're not going to query your book at the end of the year. It takes literal time to write a book. Like even if you work on it 24/7, like you need time to take a break and actually edit it, revise it. And I honestly think that if you're writing a book for the first time, it may take a whole year to commit to that. So don't compare your books to published authors. Just focus on your story and what you want to tell. This is so important, just to kind of write and don't think about anything else, because this is honestly the funnest part. Myself, like I adore the zero draft phase. It's the best part of the writing experience. So I say you just need to enjoy it and have fun. But yeah, I hope these 10 tips helped you guys, and I really can't wait for the end of the year to see all you guys actually finish your books and have that sort of the end typed out on your manuscript. It's going to be so cool. The feeling never gets old. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Anyways, everyone, thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoy my face, enjoy this channel, enjoy these tips, definitely subscribe and check out Sarah's channel as well. I really encourage you guys to check her out. Her 10 tips are probably going to be amazing, and I think we've kind of done different tips so you guys can have 10 more tips to help you, encourage you to write your book during 2024. I wish you all the best luck. I truly do, and I just can't wait to hear all about it in the comments. But I love you all so much, and I hope to see you in my next writing video. Alright, bye everyone, and happy 2024. If you're gonna